Hi there, hello everybody. Welcome to the Daily Boost Love and Action Network. We had a whole 2.5 minute countdown. And it still ran up on us. I'm Dr. Flo, Chief Executive Partner of Love and Action Network. We put love in action every day. I'm a mentor and coach online that helps people follow their bliss with their dreams. Very affordable, sliding scale, and also there's some scholarships available. We'll be talking more about that a little later as we continue to amplify messages of hope for people that want it. I'm joined tonight by Tara Olo Studio, who is.
I'm Tara Prilo. I'm your resident white-facing biracial multi-passionate musician, and I talk about the ish that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. You can find me on all platforms at Tara Prilo Studio. And that's it. I think that's who I am.
You're
Anything
amazing. You're
else?
amazing. And we've been collaborating together off and on for the last 3 years. We are committed to having community conversations around hopeful messages and things that bring us joy. I see no reason why, when one boat rises, all of them cannot rise. And so our work is anchored around that. Even when we, I would say we, when I drag myself in here on a Sunday evening to make it all pop, and we got mommy yawns happening across,
Mommy yawns.
mommy yawns.
It's like it's the moment y'all know that sometimes you get too much sleep, and that is shocking when you have a 4-month-old who suddenly sleeps all the way through the night, like from 9 to 7:45.
So your body has to readjust to what that feels like.
Right, like sleeping without being interrupted is a weird thing.
And I'm sure
I
you're still
also
probably overcoming the hypervigilance of what it means to be a new mommy.
Yes, and I had wine in the middle of the day today because doing I was spending social self-care with a friend, so that's also
Very
happening.
nice.
Yes,
Very nice. Well, it's
yes.
5 o'clock somewhere. It's not now, but
Somewhere.
we gather tonight to hold loving space. I cannot learn other people's lessons for them. They must get there themselves at
Oh
their
boy.
own time. I can simply hold loving space for them as they go through their journey. I cannot learn other people's lessons for them. They must get there themselves at their own time. I can simply hold loving space for them as they go through their journey. I've been experiencing such upheaval in my life, and we're under a bit of like stress and pressure to make life pop financially and beyond, as so many of us in the world are. And people who love me have been asking, well, what can I do to help? And I'm like, unless you want to learn my lessons for me, there's not really a lot beyond like the holding of space. There is the sharing of resources. There is, water filters. And oh my God, you all saw my love affair with the off products and the cutter products that came to keep the animals off of me outside as we transition into fall here.
Fantastic.
It's amazing. It's fantastic, and it's fantastic. So I'm not trying to pretend like there aren't practical things we can do to hold space and to share and care with one another. What I'm saying is that as it relates to the deeper lessons of life and the things that I'm currently learning about self-acceptance and accepting the moment and accepting where my dreams want to take me and accepting what types of relationships I want to be in and what kinds of jobs I want to do and who's walking over Tara's grave right now, as I walk into acceptance of all of those things, um, I'm recognizing that while people are very, very supportive, they cannot learn my lessons for me. I must get there by myself at my own time, and we can simply hold space for others as we go through it. And just knowing that you're supported and knowing that you have a friend and knowing that someone has your back. Um, is that the
You got a friend in me, but
He always sounds like he's been drinking at the piano.
I think it's a very sweet little tune.
It is Toy Story, right?
Yeah.
Did you want a do-si-do with the inspiration today?
Sure. Y'all know I got to We the Urban. I had 3 days off of Boost, y'all. I had 3 whole days. And you know how long ago We the Urban posted? 3 days ago. So look at them apples. I'll
Oh
read
wow.
like maybe like 2 or 3 slides. It's the affirmation of the day. Of the day. I can read. I am going to get myself exactly where I want to be. Ah, I am going to get myself exactly where
I'm
I
going to
want
get myself exactly where I want to be. I'm going to get myself.
myself
I'm going to
exactly
get
where I
myself
want to be, which
exactly
ties
where I
into
want
that
to be.
card that you were just reading. So that's in the caption. The first slide says, remind yourself. Number 1, things end, and that's okay. Number 2, tough times are temporary. Trust your intuition. Number 4, I don't know if I said number 3, but that was number 3. Number 4, healing starts with accepting the truth. Number 5, this too shall pass. Number 6, never give up on yourself. And number 7, focus on growing with clarity. And the next slide says what the affirmation is almost. It says, you are going to get yourself exactly where you want to be. You are going to get yourself exactly where you want
I
to be.
am going to get myself exactly where I want to be.
Yes.
I mean, but hasn't that always been the case? Haven't we always? I mean, how did we get here?
Right. Right.
I mean, like, how did we get here? I mean, and you know, I freak out about it, but it all just works out.
Right. You have a
I
choice.
mean,
You I mean, we as I say all the time, yeah, this is nothing new. Um, we have a choice. We have a choice about the way that we respond and the way that we handle the things that happen around us, right? And so if I can look at, oh, I'm a couple hours short of like where I want to be in my studio, and I can either freak out about that, which I do for a second, or I can say, all right, what can I do? I can go get some business cards printed and put them out on the sign in the yard, or I can post on Google, or I can post on Nextdoor. Um, like it's a choice that we make. Either we stay stuck in the fear or we move beyond the fear. Um, and I don't think you watched this call, but I just got done watching day 3 of Journey to 100K with Fiona, and she shared something in there that was that I felt as a voice teacher, that sometimes you don't your students don't get the results that you want for them or that they want for themselves. So, and that has nothing to do with you as a teacher. It's just that it doesn't happen because they're stuck in whatever spiral they're stuck in. And I think that's something that really resonates with me when I make a choice about something, is like, well, okay, I could stay in this shame spiral or stay in this fear spiral or stay in these spirals and not do and not get myself where I want to be, or I can get myself where I want to be. You know?
do you believe that starts with like a belief in yourself? Just where
I
does
think,
where's
I
the
think
seed of self determination
to
and
me
self
it's
discipline?
trust. And we talk about this all the time with A and B, and we say move at the speed of trust. You can only move at the pace in which you trust yourself. You can only trust others as deeply as you trust yourself. Right? You have to trust yourself first. You have to love yourself first. You have to like, all of these things are self-reflective before they're projected. Um
That's a tough drink for
yeah,
people who don't trust others or trust the world. It's kind of like a you have to really dig deep. If you have
right,
to dig deep and believe in yourself enough to say, I am.
right, right. Yeah.
I am. I'm confident. I'm capable. This is what I represent. This is who I am. You may be representing this. You may be on this garbage. You may be coming from this place. I am coming from this place.
Mm-hmm.
I am moving from this place. I see a lot of feedback in the world about how things are moving and where people are moving, and we see people moving in a lot of different directions and kind of coming to various states of awareness, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I am moving towards global, joyful revival and creative expression. That's where I am moving towards. And on Root Chakra Day, the mantra is I am.
It is.
And I would ask everyone who's in the space or those who will watch later, where are you moving? Where are you moving? Even in this moment, like we're all pointing our boats towards some kind of thought perspective or emotional perspective. What are we choosing to receive? And that's why I told Tara before we got on here, the essence of what I was trying to say before we got into a structured energy was I want to have a hopeful belief about this week as opposed to the eye roll I was holding before I came in here.
I am hopeful.
I am hopeful. I am hopeful. And just speaking the action of that hope as opposed to the doubt. And I mean, this is the practice. I would like to, I would love to be the guy that came onto these boosts and came onto these publications and these live streams and newsletters and podcasts and said, something very confident about how I just know this week is gonna. Well, last week beat me up a little bit, so I'm not feeling, the
Yeah.
brightest.
Continue and finish your thought.
I would just say I'm not feeling the brightest, but if I had to choose in this moment whether I want to see getting to Friday or Saturday as like, I would like to get to future Friday and Saturday if that's how life works out for me, with a smile on my face and saying, I got the good, I got the good, I got the bad, I got the happy, got the sad. That's the facts of life. The facts of life. I would love to get to those facts though, feeling like something good is going to take place as opposed to having another week of miscommunication and confusion and uh, talking myself in and out of my self worthiness. What's coming up for you?
Yeah. So I kind of, I sassily said in a rave one day, I said, because Dr. Flo was saying how he is a personal development junkie. And I said, I think I said something about like, you could implement it, or like it's time to implement or something. And, we can all get caught in the overthinking and in the like, and I used to talk to Poppy Wada about this a lot, which is like, what conditions are we creating for us to have a good week, right? What conditions are we creating for us to do our work? What conditions are we creating for us to proceed forward? And are those conditions on the downward spiral or the upward spiral? And if they're on the downward spiral, then how can we make them on the upward spiral? And so I just think that the implementation, you do a lot of thinking and a lot of exploring your feelings. So that's not a bad thing, right? That's never a bad thing. That's what we're about in this network. And being transparent with ourselves about what we're feeling too, right? And not pushing those down. But at the same time, what's the action behind that, or that comes next, right? Instead of staying in the same loop of spiral, right? So that was what was coming up for me as you were talking about that, was like, okay, so what's the implementation, right? Like if you are hopeful, what's the implementation? What's the thing that you can do this week? What choice can you make to not be anxietic about the simple, I'm not saying they're easy, the simple tasks to create your dream, right? Because as you talked about a couple weeks ago, if the first step seems like too much, break it into even smaller ones. right? Like Finch, our new self-care app does, right? Like it says drink water. That's what it says. It says
Drink
drink water.
water.
Like it's very simple. It says stretch. Yeah, like, it's
Take
not
3 breaths.
right. Like it's not. It's very simple, and it
Right.
it prevents some of those barriers of like, okay, well, how much water should I drink, or how many stretches should I do, or which stretches should I do? It's like
Just
stretch.
just drink a cup of water and be satisfied in the
Right,
fact that you cared in that way.
right, and it so that takes it down to like the simplest atom that we can have in that self care um, development, right? So yeah, I just I find that for me, and this is not true of everyone, y'all, but for me, when I get in those states of like overthinking and really analyzing my feelings, and again, like I need to know what those feelings are. But the thing that relieves that is making an action or making a plan or following the plan that I've already set, right? Um, like one of those things that I know is there's like I need to revamp my page on my website. That's one of those things that I'm like, ugh, oh, I get caught in the spiral of like, what's gonna be right? Just tag the contract, Tara. Like, just find the smallest step, you know?
Why do you think it is that we talk ourselves out of the next logical step that we also know is going to like bring us good? Like we know that on the other side of revamping the website, on the other side of me doing outreach efforts in the community to source talent, to coach, and also to build programs with, like I know that on the other side of that is going to be something that's joyful, bright, and secure for me. Why do I meander around that first step? Why do we go?
I think I think there's a lot of I think there's a lot of reasons. Okay. So I think one of the reasons is that we're not aligned with what we're doing. And so part of it is that we're convincing ourselves over and over again that this is the thing that we want to do instead of just being in it and being aligned with it. And I'm not saying that that's either one of us, but I know that people get to that point, and the reason they're delaying something is because they're not actually aligned with the idea, right? Like I think about people who will say, my program is coming next week. And then you just kind of never hear anything from them. And it's like, well, why didn't we hear from you? Well, it wasn't quite right yet. Right. Um, Another reason is that we're worrying about the steps beyond that first step. Right. So oftentimes I hear from you, and I hope this is okay to share publicly, but
Oh,
oftentimes I hear
please, we're
from you,
living it. We're living it.
um, oh, well, if I book these gigs, then I have to people, or if I book these gigs, then, I have to deal with a manager. If I book these gigs, then I have to manage money. If I book these gigs, then I still have to do more social media. If I book these gigs, like it's the steps beyond the like book the first show, or like,
I call it the pushing of the first domino. Because
yeah,
once
like
you
you're
push that
changing
first
the goalpost.
domino, huh?
Right. You're changing the goalpost on yourself. The
Yeah, I mean, but
goalpost is
once you push that first domino, if all the dominoes are stacked, and you've been like me, and you've been stacking a domino one by one for 3 years, loved and lovable, loved and lovable, loved and lovable. Once I go kink, it's going to do the configuration that I know in my heart that it's going to do, and that can be very overwhelming.
right. So you're seeing the staircase when all you need to see is a step.
For sure.
Yeah. Um, and then other people, you know, I think are just like if you're like a me, one of my things is that like I over plan, and so like I know I am wishy-washy on exactly what the first step is, right? So like is it updating the website, or is it reaching out to this person, or like these simple easy steps that I can take that are the first step to the next thing, but there's multiple first steps that I could take that are like on the same level of ease.
Sure. Yeah. I
Like
mean,
just don't take any of it.
we're awesome project managers. That's like a common thing that we share.
Right.
Any project manager worth their grain of salt knows 22,000 different permutations of how to solve a problem. Which of the 22,000 permutations of outcomes and possibilities would you like to go with? You know,
Right.
would I like to get my Grammy or my Tony first?
Right.
And then you just kind of just stop right there. All things are possible, as long as we nurture. It's okay to want to stay home and be alone. I did that all this weekend. I deserve days to myself, days to relax and simply be. I honor how I feel and take this day to do the things that feel nurturing to me. It's okay to want to stay home and be alone. I deserve days to myself, days to relax and simply be. I honor how I feel and take this day to do the things that feel nurturing to me. What did you do today that felt nurturing to you? I watched I love judge shows like divorce court, family court. There's now like Judge Mom, Judge Dad, Judge Karen. And so we've just been watching, like, I love litigious, silly things. And so that's kind of one of my secret pleasures. And I just laid in bed and fell asleep and napped and cuddled and was just grateful for the day. Um, you know, I just needed to rest. And once again, shout out to the folks over at Finch app. We now know that it is available for iPhone and Android devices. Please consider becoming one of my pet friends. Well, pet friends or a friends with a pet. Um,
Oh,
consider becoming my pet
never have
rock.
your pet befriend our pets.
Yeah. Or you could become a pet rock or be a pet rock or be my pet rock. I could be your pet rock. I mean,
There you go.
but what the app is doing is it's highlighting these very simple areas of self-care and self-nurturing that can be brought in. I'm going to open the app right now just briefly while we're here, as we pivot to Tara's share if she has another one.
Oh yeah.
And
There's
perfect. Um, and so when I go into Baby PD, which is the name of my little Tamagotchi guy, it asks, how satisfied are you with today? And every time you come into the app, it kind of pops up and prompts a positive message, and also it asks you how you're doing. And then according to how you're doing, in the app, it will ask you to reflect, perhaps do a listening exercise where you can listen to soundscapes and things, perhaps reflect in the journal that's inside, perhaps learn tools, identify your emotions. It's wonderful. How am I feeling? I'm feeling like a level 4. Great. But yeah, take 3 deep breaths. So I have 15 opportunities built into the app. I said, give me 15 moments of Zen. Remind me 15 times to do what I'm about to do right now with Tara. 3 deep breaths.
last one now.
And because I love checking things off, I just hit the plus sign. My little pet gets points. That's my 4th deep breath moment of the day. So many to catch up on with 15 to go. But just giving myself that. Also, check yours off if you have it available
I
there.
did. I did it earlier. I went in.
Yeah.
Mine only reminds me once, but
Well, if you slide over from the from the reminder to the right, it'll say edit, and then you can tailor things around.
gotcha.
That's how I've changed the amount of water that I need daily, and I'm looking forward this week to bringing back in the stretching and the yoga because calm is needed in my life for what I'm moving towards. None of this shit. Uh, none, none of this loved and lovable shit should be freaking me out as much as it is. I think I just have to step out into the deep again, and just do the work that's required to make it all pop. Your face is already called bullshit, so you might as well say it.
I was little in the corner. Nobody could see my face. Um, what I was gonna say was,
Let me help you. Let me help you.
thank you so much. Yeah, you just have to make the choice that it's not as scary. Like, what is the bigger thing here? Getting out of where you are by whatever means, or staying stuck.
I think that I want liberation and I want freedom as much as we all do. I think that I have a problem with moving in panicked energy. Remember, the two pests are indecision and hurry. And because I'm not making a clear decision about how to move forward, to make the money, to build the mission, to do it, in full transparency here, it's creating a sense of hurry on the back end. So I need to fix the
Right.
pest of indecision.
Yes, and it's hurry inside of things that are already actually done, right? Like, it's the redoing, um that type of hurry.
Well,
Uh
it's
and
also a
certainly
hurry. It's a hurry because the bills are coming. Like the bills don't stop; they just keep.
that's true,
Yeah.
but
So
money can come just as quickly.
that is what I'm having to accept.
Yeah.
That it's
Yeah.
not out of reach. That
And
that
also,
abundance for me is not out of reach.
I thought
It's
it
it's
was
a thought thing,
interesting,
a paradigm.
a paradigm. I thought it was interesting that you said, I don't know exactly what you said, but you said, you know, essentially you want to move at your own pace. Um, However, 2
I
years
don't
ago,
I don't like being hurried.
yeah, but 2.5 years ago, one of the first things I learned about you, or one of the things that you said all the time, was like, I love having my face pressed against the glass. It makes me work harder.
It
And so,
does.
of course, you're a changed person now. But isn't that an interesting, complete 180 flip? Um, okay, I'm live. Thank you. Oh,
It
Lord.
is it is a 180 flip. It
It
is a
is
180 flip.
completely 180 flip. And,
And
like,
so now you got me questioning my whole life because I'm like, wait,
well,
am I going to move this forward because my face is pressed against the glass, or am I going to just relax and just not be hurried and just connect the dots on what is something that's really really fantastic? Like what I'm wanting to do with the world is not like we talk about this all the time, tongue in cheek here, but like I have no desire to rob a bank or to traffic anybody or any other like
absolutely not.
thing, right?
Absolutely not.
So because of that, I should feel empowered to just go and connect my dots. I think even now talking to you and saying like, can I just connect the dots? Can I at least just like, I don't need to know, here's the theme of the day, right? I don't need to know the totality of it all. I just need to, like those dot puzzles.
Right. And if we also picture it as like a soundboard or a light board, and we're moving the sliders, right? If we've got hurry and pressing against the glass, and then we've got relaxation. This is my new fascination in the voice lesson room, by the way, y'all. Then you can choose, right? So you've been on either side of the binary, but what if it was somewhere a little more, a little right of center, or a little left of center, or like maybe 3/4 of the way to the left? And implementing that on every slider binary that we have, in order to make a move forward, to take a step forward, right? Yeah, like I said, I've been talking about that in the voice room. Like, are we all the way soft, or are we all the way loud? Where's our slider on that? Where is our slider on forward versus back? Where's our slider on belting? Where's our slider on high? Where's our slider on low? Where is all of that? Now put that together and sync. you know. And it seems to help because it's not an all or nothing thing, which you say all the time is trauma response. It's also white supremacy. Um, so yeah. All right, let me pull out some more inspo. It's okay to not be positive all the time. It's okay to fall back for a little while. It's okay to not be liked by everyone. It's okay to stand up for yourself. It's okay to have creative blocks. I'll say that one louder for the people in the back. It's okay to have creative blocks. It's okay to feel overwhelmed, Dr. Flo. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to let go. It's okay to say no. You're human. Now, this next slide is my favorite of this particular deck. This season is called My Turn. My turn to be seen, my turn to embrace my voice, my turn to grow through discomfort, my turn to occupy space, my turn to unlearn shrinking myself. I gotta say that one again. My turn to unlearn shrinking myself, my turn to prioritize my well being, my turn to shine my light, my turn to rewrite my narrative, my turn to tap into my authentic self. And I'll do one more. This is a say it with me. I am aligned with my purpose and passion. I trust in the divine timing of my life. I am a powerful creator. I am confident in expressing my authentic self. I am open to better possibilities. I am confident in my ability to obtain success. I am worthy of the life I dream of. I am courageous enough to walk away. I am focused and disciplined. I am going to get myself exactly where I want to be. You're on mute, love.
Do you think that it's possible for us to sometimes freak ourselves out about the things we want? Like yesterday, after building all of this and having a plan that I love and coming to terms with how my life is unfolding, um, last night I was still sitting on the stoop going, is this even what I really want? Do you ever have those moments where you just go, do I even want this? And you know you want it. Like you made choices back in the past. But I almost felt myself slipping in the moment of like, what do I even, not even do I want this, but like, what do I even want? Sometimes that slips for me in the moment.
It's okay to make a different choice. I mean, that's not, like, you can get to the end of like, okay, let me use an example right now. Right now, I'm sitting here like, okay, yep, I know that I could make what I want to make from a voice studio alone, but I'd have to add a fair few amount of students, and I don't necessarily want to do that. And so then I look at it, and the choice I made years ago was because I am light skinned, that I should not make money or profit off of DEI work. Like, that should always be free, coming from me. Not saying that other creators should not be paid, just in my opinion, should be paid or not paid. In my opinion, I should not be paid. And that's shifting for me. And that is a like, ooh, is that a capitalistic one? Is that a selfish one? Is that what, and what is that? But it's a different choice. And it's always okay to make a different choice. I think when I posted that post 2 whole years ago, I said something like, I reserve the right to change my mind. And that's always true. So, like, I mean, I think sometimes we trap ourselves into believing that what we've wanted for however many years or however many months or however many whatever is the only thing that we can want, or is like, because we've been working in that direction for so long, that has to be the culmination. But the reality is that we're making micro choices every single day to take the first step towards whatever that current choice is, right? So, like, for a time, I was a brand coach. I don't want to be a brand coach anymore. That's a different choice, right? And I finally went the other day. I messaged Clara. I said, Clara, I think I'm ready to take it out of my bio on Instagram. I think I'm ready to take it out of my little do me flogger that says tarot line, da 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 da. I think I'm ready to change that to reflect who I am,
Wow.
right? And I took it out.
Because
Now it says,
because to stay in that vein would be shrinking yourself into a version of yourself that you no longer want to be.
right, right. So now it says singer, facilitator, conversationalist, and activist.
Wow.
Has nothing about voice teaching, has nothing about coaching, has nothing about anything. It's just very open ended, right? And I'm in a place in my life where I'm asking questions and I want to get paid to ask those questions. But at the same time, I'm so much more open and shifting rather than that whole like opera singer, brand coach, voice teacher, and activist. Like that is very this, right? And is shrinking. So yeah, I think sometimes we can get very scared of what we want. Um, and it goes right back to trusting, right? How am I shrinking myself? Am I shrinking myself? You have to trust yourself enough to know that you are. And then you just move on what you want. Most of us have some sort of system in place that we can show up however we want on whatever platform we want, right? Like you can show up on Instagram today and talk about selling airplanes. And tomorrow you can show up and you can sell a salad because you made the choice that you don't like flying anymore and that you want to be a health nut. It's just another choice. It's just another choice. So yeah, it's okay to question. It's okay. It's okay to have doubts. The movie Doubt, y'all. She says, Meryl Streep, in one of her greatest moments in all of TV, says, I have doubts. And we should be exploring our doubts. We just can't stay stuck there. We have to make a decision and move on action.
We have to make a decision. We have to make a decision.
Right. So again, I mean, there's been, I think, 3 or 4 things circling for the last year or so since I've been back of like, what is it exactly that you want to do? And what I'm encouraging is maybe each day this week you wake up and you say, what do I want to do today? What dream do I want to go towards today? And whatever the answer is that pops in there is the thing that you market that day, is the thing that you send the emails about that day. Right? Instead of the whole thing every single time you wake up.
Yeah, it's definitely got to get broken into bite-sized pieces to be manageable for sure. You can't do a 25-year mission in one day.
Right.
And that's why things sometimes don't move forward because I see in my mind as a visionary like everything that I want to do. But you have to, and as I pivot into the Melody Beatty to
Yes.
button up last week and to move forward into this week. Last week she talked about not being in the binary. The binary is like I got to do all the 25 years of the work or none of the work. There's micro movements in between as we engage the colors of our lives. Life is not black and white. Life happens for us and to us in colors, and that's what we were talking about last week in our themes. Day 6. Remember that there's a difference between feeling angry and turning resentful. And after we feel angry or hurt, it's time to practice forgiveness. There's a difference between feeling jealous and harboring ill will. But if we don't get all of those feelings out first, we won't be able to get values like forgiveness and goodwill to work. The gratitude focus of last week's theme of colors is that we can be grateful for each feeling that comes our way. even the ones we don't think we should have.
You remember we were just talking about doubts, y'all? Remember those thoughts that you think you shouldn't be having? Those are actually probably thoughts that your body and your brain are using to protect yourself. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
It's okay to have those thoughts.
They say the only two fears that we are actually born with is the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Everything else is uh, everything else is just things we've acquired. I'm
That
not
makes
sure.
sense,
Yeah,
given that my child has a startle reflex.
yeah.
That
They say everything else is something that we've added. So let's
makes
try
sense.
not to add as many this week. Day 7. Did I forget to mention that joy is a feeling too? But the trick is when we look for joy, it's hard to find joy. Joy is made up of all the other colors that exist. Joy is when we're willing to surrender to all our experiences and all our emotions. Was I talking to you the other day about surrender and how I'm just like, I'm so blasted on life right now, and because I'm a technology junkie, I'm always with my pacifier, and it causes issues because I sometimes feel bombarded by everything going on in the world because I know as much as I scroll, and I scroll a lot, a lot. It's just one of my, it's one of my many addictions. But I'm learning to be willing to surrender. Because sometimes just once again going back to FinChat, just saying I want a 3-minute sound bath. I'm just gonna put my headphones on or go into a quiet room and just listen to running water, streams of running water, or a thunderstorm for 3 minutes and just reset and just, you know, continue to reprogram myself into what it means to truly be a human being, not a human doing. The prayer that ends last week, Tara, is help me to be not so frightened of feeling my emotions. Help me to be not so frightened of feeling my emotions. Send me exactly what I need to stay emotionally alive.
Emotionally alive.
Emotionally alive. Because a lot of people are living in the fact that, like, the respiration and, the brain chemistry, everything's kind of moving. The nerve endings are feeling things. We got all of our, our sight senses and our touch senses and things like that. Um, but even though we're physically alive, sometimes we're not emotionally alive.
Right. And they have to move. I think that's important. Okay, to me, emotionally unalive is like opera when it stays in the same emotion for like 45 minutes. And it's like, can we move ahead, friends? You know, I get that we
Can
need context, but can we move ahead?
can we feel something? Can
Yes.
we yeah. Where's this going?
Yeah.
I feel that way sometimes in conversations with people. Like, to what end
Right. Right.
can we
Why are you
be
still there?
emotionally alive?
Right. Why are you still stuck there? We've talked about this. Why are you still stuck there? Why is the same emotion coming up? How can we move more quickly through that emotion to a different emotion? Yeah, emotionally alive. I love it. Okay, this week.
We're coaches, and so we understand that part of the reason why people sometimes are not emotionally alive and why we aren't is because we haven't worked with what this week's theme is.
Forgiveness. Forgiveness. Okay, I'm gonna get kicked off the internet. Y'all come take singing lessons with me. All right, day one. I'm gonna read all of day one since Dr. Flo just gave us a whole bunch. Did you starting off strong? Did you
Did you
ever
redo? Did you redo?
do, which is a lovely instrument? Did you ever do something stupid that hurt someone's feelings? Guilty. Did you ever treat someone wrong and there was no justification for how you behaved? Guilty. done it to somebody in this room. I have. It's an awful place to be when we realize what we've done. The more we value that person, the more we want them to know how genuinely sorry we are. We'd give anything to see their facial muscles soften and hear them say, "It's okay." I first learned about the value of forgiveness when I was in treatment for chemical dependency. I didn't realize how much I'd hurt other people until I'd been sober for a while. When I became aware of my guilt, it was paralyzing and thick. I just wanted it to go away, and I didn't think it ever would. The antidote for guilt is forgiveness. I'm going to read that sentence one more time. The antidote for guilt is forgiveness. The next sentence has the word God. Replace it with whatever makes you happy. We are bring your own belief organization. Asking for forgiveness from others or God puts us in a vulnerable place. There is nothing we can do except wait until we get word and believe that it's okay. I recently read a magazine article about the psychological benefits of saying, "I'm sorry." Acknowledging to someone that we've hurt them, saying we're sorry, and genuinely meaning it improves health. Recovery programs have known for a long time that becoming aware of the harm we've done and making direct amends are essential for the well being of the person making amends. But making amends doesn't just benefit us, it helps the other person too. As hard as I try not to, I still make mistakes and do things that hurt others. Sometimes I know what I'm doing is wrong, and I do it anyway. Other times, it's an accident. Forgiveness isn't just a value we need if and when we're recovering, it's a value we'll need all our lives. And as we've been talking about, the value of the week. Forgiveness has many components. Jesus. Self inspection, self responsibility, compassion, living by a set of ethics, letting go of our defenses, letting go of our resentments and judgments, humbling ourselves, wanting to be closer to higher power, acknowledging to other people that they're important to us, knowing that others care enough about us. All of these aspects of forgiveness are good. Whether we're extending or receiving forgiveness, it's the value this week.
Ciao. They say that humans suffer because of our memory. In other parts of the animal kingdom, in our cats and our dogs, we witnessed that they don't have a particularly long term memory.
Right.
They kind of experience in the moment. It's happy, sad, good, bad, or preferred or not preferred, kind of stimuli and things. But they by and large don't recall what happened to them when they were five, in the
Right.
ways that we do, or something that happened 2 weeks ago that our partner did that we just can't seem to let go. And it is our long term memory of the past, or short term memory of the past, and our ability to imagine and envision the future that actually causes us the most suffering in this life. And so I love that this week's text is calling us to, put the past to rest. Like, don't carry this around for the rest of your life, allowing it to make you heavy. Perhaps you can step into all of these wonderful self inspection. Oh, wait. Uh, Yeah, self inspection,
Mhm.
self responsibility, compassion, letting go of our defenses, acknowledging to other people that they're important to us. Like, we're not out here without possible solutions. It's not like we just, I don't know what to do. I feel awful, about the way I've been treated, or what could I do? Well, there are some things.
There's some things.
Letting go of resentments and judgments. taking responsibility for my life. And then once you begin to take a full inventory of your life, which is what the 12-step programs teach us to do, you begin to see that there's no such thing as a perfect person. And like the text was saying, we've all done things that deserve forgiveness. And so hopefully that will incline us to forgive. I'm going to move forward and button this up by talking about the root chakra. The root chakra, Muladhara chakra, we gather on Sundays at 7:30 Eastern, unless we're running a bit behind for life, to talk about the power of knowing who we are. And for those of you who are on Substack, reading the transcript of this, or watching this in video, or listening over on Spotify, we focus on these things so that we don't get caught up in the habba-babba of life. Habba-babba. Because if you don't know who you are and what you desire, someone else will try to hand that to you. If you don't know that you radically are calling for ceasefire, both in your heart and also in the world, someone will pretend like you're not. And so, anyway.
Can you say that one more time? The ceasefire part.
Yeah, if I don't call deliberately for ceasefire, meaning if I don't say that I want a ceasefire in my heart and in the world, someone else is going to say that my ideals are different. Essentially, if I don't speak up for what I really, really want in this life, people will say that I didn't want it. Same thing with my career and my dreams and my ambitions. Like, if I don't say, like, I'm a global revival that's coming into people's spaces to bring change and hope and joy, they'll say, that was a guy in a red hat. Ain't even a hat, So it's important that we self-identify in the world. I'm not talking about an identity politic or trying to over-identify with oppression or things like that, but if we don't tell people who we are and what we stand for, they will fill in the blanks for us through the omission of our I am. So I want to empower people to call for ceasefire in your heart and in the world, because they will pretend like it didn't matter. They will pretend like you don't matter, and you do. So I am calling for ceasefire. I am priming myself to a hopeful week. I am loved and lovable, are important things to know in a world that's trying to tell us all who the fuck we are.
Agreed.
It's not throat chakra day, but clearly I'm open.
But you do get that week.
I do get that day this week. I'm so excited about it. Every time. It's my sassiest of days. How do I perceive my sense of identity in the physical world? Do I feel confident in my ability to survive and thrive? How do I connect with my instincts and primal energies? This will be the only bank of questions that I will read today, because if I take time with this question, it's going to lead us into things that we talk about in programs like Deconstruction Junction on Tuesday. If you're new to us, we are Love in Action Network. We are available on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Telegram, Facebook, and also Bigo. And all we do is sit around and try to figure out ways to encourage, equip, and empower ourselves and the world. And some of the things that we unpack on Tuesday nights in Deconstruction Junction is issues of race and identity politics and the way that shows up in our lives. And I'm not sure if being identified as an oppressed person, even if I am being oppressed and suppressed, actively, which is happening. I think I get out of Instagram jail again in like 5 days. So it's not like I'm making this up, but I ask myself all the time, recognizing that blackness is awesome, and recognizing that I am pro black, and recognizing that blackness brings so much cultural, um, I'll just say cultural awesome to the world. How is being identified with my blackness holding me back? How do I perceive my sense of identity in the physical world? Well, if I perceive my blackness as a gift to the world, that I bring my own flavor of identity into it, then fine. Most of us are not conditioned, though, to believe that about our blackness in an anti-black society. And so, depending on how I perceive myself in my personal gaze or in the white gaze, determines the trajectory of how I feel about what I can do in my life. Does that make sense? So I've been these days trying to be culturally black, but not identify with the oppressiveness of what it means to be like if you play into the whole narrative of what it means to be black here in America, I'd be scared right now that like a cop is gonna like kick in my front door and kill me over a bowl of ice cream, or that for many years in my 20s and 30s, I was paranoid of driving places at night because what if a cop pulled me over and it became a Queen and Slim kind of situation? These are very real things, but if I keep my sense of identity in a paranoid, oppressed, work twice as hard to get half as much energy, that's going to be bad for me. I don't want to be an oppressed black this week, Tara. Can I be can I be a house slave this week instead of a field one?
Can you put it on a slider? I'm obsessed with the slider, right? The Bible
Yeah.
is
This
oppressed,
is
not
good.
oppressed.
This is good.
Oppressed, not oppressed. Oppressed, not oppressed. Where are you in the slider, and what is going to make you feel better this week? I think. Can you put it on a slider? Can you put it on a miniature, a miniature hamburger
I
with
was like, when you
with
say,
cheese and pickles?
I was like, when you said, when you said, can you put it on a slider? I was
Yeah,
like, I immediately went to like Ruby Tuesdays.
yeah. I mean, because I think what you're saying, I think it's important too that like we don't, as oppressed humans, that we don't necessarily
Wait,
identify
wait,
with.
wait, wait. Are you leading with that? Are you leading with as oppressed humans, comma? Is this what we're doing?
We as oppressed humans. I was going to
Why?
say
But why are you do?
marginalized class.
Wait. Why are you doing
Members
that?
members of the global majority. We better with that. Um,
Yes, because
okay.
because because we're talking about
Members of the
we're talking about
global
perception
majority.
of identity.
Yes. Members of the global majority. We are often, and the goal of oppression is to be disempowered. So identifying with the oppression is disempowering, right? So how can you find your power within the fact that we live in oppression world? you know, in an oppression paradigm, a paradigm.
Westworld, an oppression world, like going Disney World or oppression world.
Right. I would choose not Disney actually because he was kind of
We
racist.
just live in a world where people don't want to believe in they don't want to believe that everyone comes in here through their mama's vajayjay with the same set of greed, hatred, anger, and delusion.
Right. Well, and nature versus nurture and all that conversation and the openness. We had a wonderful conversation, a liberation conversation today. That we were talking about hierarchies and openness and all that good stuff. So, I mean, yeah, I hear you on that. Which are you identifying with oppression? And if so, which oppression? And
Oh, and
you know,
I didn't want to rain on anybody's parade, but of course hierarchies can be suspended when you're paying thousands of dollars.
Hmm.
That's why you were asking like how is the grading process going to go? Well, if you're just having a conversation, the conversation is $20,000 and everybody's winning, then of course it's going to be generative, right?
Sure, mayhaps.
You know,
I
me. But meanwhile, while that's happening in academia, for those of you like, what are these people talking about? Um, Talking about the ways in which academia is shifting in some spaces to where there is a conversation happening in programs between those who are the professors and those that are the students, versus me seeing one of my former high school buddies having to assimilate their whole uh,
persona.
appearance and persona in order to go into a doctoral dissertation process or a dissertation defense process. So it's like we're getting everything from. This is how it's always going to happen, though. It's going to one brick at a time is how the wall comes down.
That part, or a piece of ice if you're watching Game of Thrones. Um, but whatever.
Shot to the heart, and you're to blame. You give love a bad name.
You gave love.
A bad name. Do I feel confident in my ability to survive and thrive?
I think can I insert something here? And you could correct me if I'm wrong. I would say yes to the first for you, and sometimes to the second.
Yeah. I said online earlier this week that I can best be described as mercurial in my personality.
You did say
Um,
that.
and I'm not sure if that serves because that goes back to like taking the temperature of the outside to determine the inside. And most people can do that to survive. I think thriving for me what it looks like going forward for me in the weeks and months to come is becoming a thermostat again,
Right.
and not leaving my thriving to chance, but actually saying I
Harness it.
am going to thrive. What do we lead with today with the affirmation? I'm going to put myself in the places I want to be in. That could be a paraphrase.
It is a paraphrase, but I'm
I'm
going
going
to
to
Mentos,
place
so I'm
myself.
going to get it. Hang
Okay,
on, y'all. Hang
get the
on.
citation.
I
I'm
closed
going
the
to
window.
place myself.
I am going to get myself exactly where I want to be.
I'm going to get myself exactly where I want to be. I'm going to get myself exactly where I want to be. And I want to add to that by doing what I can moment by moment.
Right.
Like we pointed to earlier,
And like allowing everything to be positive. You said mercurial. And yeah, we want to be emotionally alive. We want to move through emotions. Uh can you put mercurial on a slider?
right.
Right? And also like I would challenge you in this moment because we're here to to deconstruct why you have chosen to be mercurial. Is it because you're a performer and you think that that makes you stand out from the crowd? Is it because you uh, feel like that is a way to garner the I don't want to say attention, but the career that you seek? It you
No,
know
one of the 48 laws of power, which I'm controversially bringing up, it talks about mercurial being like a way to garner attention and to kind of
yeah,
shake the table and to keep people off their guard and all these different things. I don't use mercurial in that way. Mercurial for me is more of a positive thing of being able to take in the happiness and the sadness of life, the sassiness of people, and throw it right back. Like that, be able to ride the wave to me is a mercurial thing. So I use it as a positive thing.
good.
I think if I still see if I don't apply the slider, like this slider idea is really gotten to me. because because too
Okay,
much mercurial creates instability.
that part.
So you have to
Too much paying
decide
attention to the bullshit creates
yeah. So like
right?
so where is, and we led with this like I'm not going to, for the satisfaction of the ratings, just say, oh, I'm gonna abandon being mercurial because it's just not a good way to be, because it can't it does serve. I have to figure out how to not be in the trauma response of all or nothing. That's where we led with.
Right,
It's kind of
right.
like how can I be comfortably in the middle of this experience as opposed to completely freaked out or completely laid back. Like there's got to be some kind of
Yeah, what percentage are you? You know? I mean, that's
right.
another way to ask it. What are you 85% relaxed and 15% panicked? Are like are you 90% mercurial in the positive sense and 10% in the negative sense? Are like what does that all look like? Uh I
I will
love this thing. It's
I
like
love the
it
spider thing. I will give you though that and like I give it to you like it's a prize or something on the other.
gold star for Tawa.
Surviving is a thing that I have grown accustomed over the last 3 years to doing very, very well, and stabilizing my emotions as an entrepreneur when 2 plus 2 is not equaling 4, and it's kind of like the sky's all survival. I have still myself enough to be able to make it to this wonderful pot of pintos. Um,
Yes. Thriving.
Thriving is going to take an additional effort and an additional quotient of belief.
And an additional trust in yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I say yes for me for both surviving and thriving.
Keep. Could you answer the last question while I go and spin the beans? How do you connect with instincts and primal energies?
How do I connect with instincts and primal energies? I'm a mom. So instincts are natural now. Uh, but no, one of the things we were talking about forgiveness earlier, and one of the things that I noticed about myself today, um, and it was reflected back to me in DM conversations I was having with someone, is my ability, my instinctual ability to always have an olive branch ready. Like this has happened with Dr. Flo, and we did the work, child. AMB, shout out to AMB that we didn't know we were doing, but we did it. Um, I've done this with people that I've unfollowed and then have come back into my life. I've done this with people that um, other people don't necessarily like. I've done this with a bestie of 20 years, right? Like, and so the instinctual, like, it's time. It's time. And I trust myself a lot. And you know what? I never made this post. I talked about trusting. Like, I was making these posts for a long time about, not for a long time. It happened for like a month before I gave it up and got bored. Um, but trusting the uh oh, I was going to do it on like branding and on activism and on voice lessons and as a performer, like trust. But I think I trust myself a whole lot. I trust my instincts a lot. Like there are moments I'm very decisive. I'm very decisive. And so like the fact that there's something that I'm currently pondering of like, oh, okay. When every other thing before this, I've been like, nope, don't need that. Nope, don't need that. Nope, don't need that. Nope, don't need that. Like my instinct is saying, yeah, this could be the thing. This could be the thing that breaks me out of this cycle that I've been in for um, 3, 4, 5 years. And part of that is breaking out of the cycle of infertility. I have a baby. My instinct says like it is time for something new, right? It is time to delve deeper. It's time to go forward. And what was the other word? Primal instincts and primal desires.
Primal energies. But we,
Primal,
we could talk about primal
primal
desires.
desires,
I,
child.
I
Well,
got my primal desires
you
worked
know where
out
our brains
today.
are always at, friends, adult.
That's tomorrow.
Adult.
I feel
I feel. I will be back tomorrow for I feel. But yeah, I just
primal
think the same thing.
energies.
Primal energies, like, yeah, it's simple, y'all. Like they're only when you look at an emotion wheel, there's only like 4 core emotions, right? Happy, sad, mad, something else that I can't remember. Um or maybe there's only 3.
Surprised.
I don't know. Isn't that under happy? I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Wait. The 4 core emotions you say?
Yeah, like it's simple. Your primal energy is simple. So allow it to
Happy,
be.
sadness, fear, and anger.
There we go. Fear was the one I forgot. That's shocking.
How could we forget fear?
How could we forget fear? Um,
Maybe we
yeah,
should.
yeah. I feel very trusting of myself and always try to get to the simplest nugget of things. It's an activist trait of like, what is the message? What is the simplest way we can deliver the message? Joy is the revolution. Push the damn button. You know? All right. How are the beans?
They are moving along within the next 20 minutes or so. They're going to be absolutely fantastic. But not before we share with everybody Love and Action Network's website, lovedandlovable.bio.link. You'll be able to go here, y'all, and tap into the daily events. You'll also be able to see our current needs where you can audition and apply. You'll also be able to check out our seeds and our programs that we develop within our network that happen daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. If you only come around once a year, that's fine. There's also our people and talent programs, our resources and courses. I do want to click into resources and courses really quickly because we've been updating some things. You're going to see under the resources tab, emotions wheels, needs wheels, helplines, suicide prevention, and also some stages of deprogramming. These are things that we're going to be talking about this week in Deconstruction Junction. But for those of you who perhaps don't know exactly what kinds of comfortable and uncomfortable emotions that you're dealing with today, perhaps you could put words to your feelings using these tools. All right, heading back over here. How to donate if you want to donate to help us eat and close some gaps and also, be free in this life in all the ways that we are. You can donate there. And then also feel free to live chat us or to check out the support desk. We are here and available to you 24/7 with our message of being loved and lovable. And we hope that what you experienced here tonight with us was uplifting to you. Where can people check out your awesome this week, Tara?
On the same website, friends. And I'm Tara Prilo Studios right there on all platforms that matter. And I say that because I'm not Tara Prilo Studio on some other platforms. You will still find me, but I'm not that. And they're not platforms that matter. You still find me on all those platforms. And I'll be blabbing my mouth, I hope, a little bit more this week. Not necessarily blabbing my mouth, but posting on the socials a bit more. I am refinding my confidence, friends.
Listen, it is a cycle, and we help each other
You
in the
do.
network, staying keyed into joy. So if you're out there and you're on Spotify listening, on the newsletter, reading and watching, wherever you are in the world, I hope that you remember this week that joy is the actual revolution. Joy is the key that will set us free. It's a better way of living than being in pain and despair. And I hope that when you think of a place to come to be uplifted, that you think about our network, our academy, and all the work that we're doing. We will see you later in the week. Stay in your joy, stay in your power, stay loved and lovable, and we'll see you around the network.